How are you guys doing? Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks. Today we're going to be rebooting. Rebooting. Boy, that was a heck of a break. Everybody rested?
It's time to
good? I'm feeling good.
It's time to light the lights.
Look, I got new signage. Isn't it cute? It's super cute. It's so adorable. You can hardly see it, but I love it. It's so fun. Oh, and I have a new office assistant. For those who haven't had one-on-ones with me in the last 18 months, this is Princess. This is my daughter, Mary Ellen. She's 6. Last summer, she did so good keeping her room clean all year or all summer long that her daddy got her a dog. I'm going to say that again. Her daddy got her a dog. Okay. This is not my daughter's dog. This is my husband's dog. If you didn't catch it, I'm just saying. So, welcome to Metamorphosis and other fancy transformations, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. It has been a hot second. So, the last live stream that we did, we had Michael Loggins on, if you guys recall, and I think we did like a last minute one somewhere in there where Rachel was having a nervous breakdown at work. And I was like, I need therapy. No, just do coffee. Therapy takes time. I can't do that. So anyway, welcome back, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Today with me is for those who are new, we have a few new people, which is cool. I know we saw Gregor, right? Gregor is hailing from, where are you hailing from, Gregor? You're way out in the middle of nowhere land away from us, but we love that you're here. We're so glad. I saw that you got some coffee. I recommended the Innocent Lives Foundation Mission Fuel. If you didn't know that the Innocent Lives Foundation has their own coffee, holy stuff mix. Go check it out. Okay? It is good stuff. That's what I drink. That's what I got. Cheers. Cheers. Grab a cup, circle up. So I am Rachel Arnold. Currently, I am aligned with my home, Secure Nation. I'm so glad. I love those guys. They are my favorites. Oh, that's family.
Check that out.
Right.
Gregor's coming from Germany.
Yes. I knew it was really far. I was like, it's somewhere. It is a distant land that I've never been to. I wanted to go. But anyhow, Rachel Arnold, Secure Nation, Human API. Go follow the things on LinkedIn if you're not already following. I've probably sent you a connection request at this point, and it's just sitting somewhere waiting for you to go. I would love to connect with that person. Or you can send me one. Also fine. I will accept it. Joining me to my, it's flipped around, to my right. See, because in the camera I have to go to the left. So I get screwed up. Is Will McCullen. Will is the program manager for the IT Center of Excellence at PIMA Community College in Tucson, Arizona.
Wow, well done.
It only took me 3 years, Will. I got it right.
Okay, now you get to do it.
I got it right.
Fast, okay.
I didn't even write it down or anything. I just right off the top of the head. And here under us, right here, always the wind beneath our wings, Ryan Cloutier. If you have not met Ryan, shame on you. This man is everywhere all at once. Okay? He does so many amazing things for the cybersecurity community on a daily basis. Most recently, my favorite thing that Ryan has done is in collaboration with FR Secure for their CISSP mentorship and study program.
Yep.
You guys, it's free. It is free. You can just sign up. They just had the last session signed up. If you want to learn more about it, I'm sure Ryan would be happy to connect with you via LinkedIn and get you started. Free. How many folks to date have gained their CISSP after doing the coursework?
To be honest, we don't have good metrics on other than those that reach out to us for endorsement, but I can tell you how many have taken the course this year. We had 19,000 participants this year. Last year we had 12,000. And like Rachel said, there's no gimmick, there's no catch. You're not going to get a marketing email. If you want to take the CISSP, if you're thinking about taking the CISSP, if you've never even heard of what the CISSP is, check out the FR Secure Mentor Program. Actually, I'm very excited. This was the last year that we were running it under the FR Secure banner. We are actually transitioning the program to a nonprofit so we can run it more frequently. And we want to be able to expand the curriculum base, the teachers. You know, so many great volunteers. It's all a volunteer initiative. We were blessed this year to have Christoph Fulan as an instructor, Ron Werner as an instructor, myself, the ever wisdomy Evan Francine, as well as Brad and I. So we're looking to grow that. If you have any interest at all in taking the course or in, you know, helping us teach the course, you know, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Super excited. And you guys know me, I'm the Care Bear, right? I just want to give us all a big cybersecurity hug and try to make the world.
Yeah, I mean, come on, this is something, right, that you could make a lot of money at. So why are you doing all this?
Well, for the audience, because you guys know this, I'm a man of service. I believe in serving first, selling second. I believe in protection before profits. Don't get me wrong, I like profits. I'm happy to sell you some stuff if it's helpful. But first and foremost, you know, I really like to connect on that human level. I like to help people. And what I have found is there are so many wonderful humans that just need a little lift, just need maybe a word of encouragement or a door propped open or whatever that is. And being blessed to be in the position I'm in, have the friends that I do, have the ability to affect this industry in the ways that I can. I've thought, hey, what's even cooler than that being for me is using that to help all of you. So that's what drives me. It's what gets me up and excited every day is, you know, putting one more in than I took out.
So in other words, one of those fantastic folks trying to make the world a better place. Yes.
I mean, you guys are part of that inspiration, right? That's what this is all about is trying to, we got to do something. So why not have some fun while we do it? Why not lift some folks up and make some good, honest money along the way?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been a roller coaster for me. What about you? It's been some time since I've seen you two.
So I had an opportunity to work with an amazing team. All right. If you want to know more about that, you can go check out my LinkedIn page. I'm not going to mention it here. They might be listening. But they're amazing. Okay. Amazingly talented, driven, so passionate about their customer bases. What was so cool for me was that I actually met my husband while gaming. This was a gaming company, via one of their gaming platforms. It felt very full circle for me. I was like, wow, I've got to take the opportunity to support this team. And I did. And it was the coolest experience. All right. I learned so much. Did I get a little bit of PTSD? Yes. Yes, I did. Has that been why I've been so quiet for like, a few months? Yes. Yes, it is. Did I do all the work and take care of myself and reestablish who I am as a human and, you know, put the soul back in me? Yeah. Ryan got a few of those phone calls. Will definitely took those phone calls where I was like, I don't feel shiny anymore. It hurts to breathe air. But we were able to really, really do some impactful things for those teams. I have some lifelong friends that I've walked away with that I will never forget. I have so many lessons I've learned, but it was the coolest thing. Just real. I can't get over it. And then as part of the getting my shiny back, I was offered to attend B-Sides New Orleans, which happened early in May. Did that. You guys, I got to hang out with Jack Daniel.
Nice.
I can't share any of the selfies because I have the biggest shit-eating grin on my face. I look ridiculous. I will not share them publicly. I might share it with you if you ask me, if you DM. Okay, I might. But you can see like my eyeballs are bulged out of my head. Jack looks amazing, of course, but I'm like, like just ridiculous, big, huge, split face grin. Alan Alford and David Sparks were also there. They did their live show from there. If you listen to their, I think it was like their May 31st podcast, right around there, they released it at the end of May, the podcast show that they did. You could probably hear me screaming in the background because I was front and center. I was like, what's up, guys? I love you so much. That was so fun. And then just a few weeks after that, they had NOLACon. So Ryan came for NOLACon.
Good.
Josh and I actually stayed overnight, courtesy of John Davis at Secure Nation. Thank you, John. You're the best. And we all got to pal around for the weekend in New Orleans and learn and grow. Ryan got to, I don't know. I got pictures of Ryan where we're going to say Ryan was mentoring. That's what we're going to say Ryan was doing.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Yeah. But it was like, it was so cool. And I had never, I'm a little ashamed to admit that I have never used a soldering gun before. But I did.
You did good.
I did.
You did
Ryan coached me.
You didn't.
And I
did.
did.
Anything.
It was so fun. And one of our newer Secure Nation like team members, Ashley Brock, this is her, amazing. She was also there. John Davis was there. Kim McCarty, our chief operating officer, was there. Who else was there? Oh my gosh, Wynn was there with Jack Daniel, or no, that was B-Sides. I get the two screwed up, you guys. My bad. But anyhow, met so many fantastic people. It was great. If you are in the New Orleans area or Baton Rouge area, I definitely strongly recommend B-Sides New Orleans and NOLACon. They're going to be doing it again next year. You have plenty of runway. You can plan, okay? And they're always looking for sponsorships as early as possible. So those were the two coolest things that I've done lately, other than just regular be a mom. We got the kids in summer camp this year. Woo-hoo! You guys, I didn't know how magical summer camp is.
Okay, speaking of summer camp, me and my wife just discovered there are adult summer camps. Yes.
What?
I had the same feeling. She's like, "Hey, do you want to go to summer camp?" And I was like, "Is that some kind of new club, a restaurant?" She's like, "No, like let's legit go do summer camp." So they have adult summer camps with all the activities and all the what you would expect, but for grown folk. So lots of wine, lots of whiskey.
Can we set one up just for like all the coffeeholics? Can we do that? Can we set up a summer camp for the cybersecurity coffeeholics?
Well, I think that's a good idea. And actually, one thing I wanted to bring up while we were all here is a couple of the things that I'm working on. So, NOLACon was really awesome for me to attend with you and spend that time. And for those that know me, mental health is a very important topic for me. I'm a huge advocate of mental health. If you've worked in this business long enough, you're going to have some kind of trauma you're carrying with you. Maybe it's the trauma that brought you into the business. Definitely, and we can see from Rachel's face, little PTSD can happen sometimes, right? This is an intense line of work. And so my heart goes out to everybody right now that's dealing with Move It. You've been up all night. Maybe some of you are here just trying to get your head screwed back on and maybe you're here to just catch a quick nap and get back in the fight. But know that there's a team of us that are working on some solutions so that we can bring mental health care skills and self-care skills to the hacking community, to the cybersecurity community. It is such an underserved area. So the group that's doing it, again, strictly volunteer, no gimmicks, no catch. But what we're trying to do is put a framework together that the cons can have available to them. And if they so choose to, have a resource kit that they can stand up a self-care village at the con where folks can come learn some stress management skills and maybe get some mental health resources, who are the local providers in the area. So if anybody, has interest in that, please do reach out. And then I'll tie that to the next piece. So I saw that that was working well, that this team of volunteers doing something for the right reason, and everybody was really getting some fulfillment out of it. And that led me to kind of the next stage of the game, which is what I'm doing now. So you guys know some of this story, but for those that don't, most recently, I was the president of Security Studio. Honored and humbled to have served in that position. It was amazing. I did a lot of really great things with the team. The team did even more amazing things, and really company is growing and grew to this beautiful place. As president, that was my job, to be president. And so I started losing touch with some of the new technological innovations, and just trying to keep up and stay on the edge was becoming more challenging. So recently, for personal growth reasons, for health reasons, I did step down from that role. Still very, very, very good friends with Security Studio, still supporting them. But now what I'm working on is I am transitioned over, teamed up with an organization called Synaptech Services, and I am the CISO and Chief Visionary. And what we're working on is building a cooperative of providers. So instead of just having just the big players in town be able to serve, the larger customer base, really working together to bring more local and regional resources together, smaller MSPs, individual practitioners, and kind of create a cooperative model, very similar to what you would see in agriculture co-ops, so that we can serve more, ideally stress a little less, but most importantly, create those opportunities for folks to work on the cooler projects, the bigger projects, the funner things, without having to have that burden of trying to become an enterprise or having to work in an enterprise to get those opportunities. So just super excited about that.
But there's a lot more to that, right? Because for those of us that have been in the industry for a long time, you hear, oh, great, another collection of vendors, somebody's trying to sell something trying to do, but you got a different focus, right? You're thinking a lot more community.
Absolutely. Yeah. The idea is, everybody in this business that needs to buy something knows they need to buy something. What we're trying to do is become the place that you go to get an honest conversation, to be offered, vetted solutions, not by preference, but by right fit for you in a, cooperative and collaborative approach. And the one thing, and you guys know this about me, very, very high, strict code of conduct, ethics, and standards, right? This can't just be about money. It's actually the money piece is kind of a foregone conclusion. What the idea is business leaders are struggling to get their head around this. They're struggling to have conversations with their board. They're struggling to justify spend, and especially now with the belt tightening and the burnout, all the CISOs are burning out and leaving. There's a huge talent vacuum. We said, well, how do we fill that gap in a way that is uplifting, that leaves the industry better than we found it, that leaves these businesses better than we found them? Not necessarily to maximize getting every last point of profit. And a lot of that too is going to involve charitable activities, working closely with organizations like PIMA to give those students net new opportunities to help them get that first shot at experience, while also helping some of the more gray-haired and senior folk that I hang out with still get to contribute and mentor and do these things, but maybe not as high pressure as being in that CISO chair at a full-time position. So it gives them a chance to still remain part of the industry while letting go a little bit of that high stress.
Yeah, this is what I love about this, right? Because and this is kind of the epitome of this, that we're starting to grow a community of individuals in the cyber world to try to change this whole environment, right? I don't know, what is it about this industry that hopefully it's starting to break away, but that whole point of you have to hold your tail higher than everybody else in the room, right? All that kind of garbage. And that's why at the Arizona Cyber Range that we have, right, when you were there, you walk right in the door and there's leave your ego at the door, right? So that we can just toss that garbage out and realize the practical aspect that this is hard, folks. This is a flippin' treadmill that once you get on, you're going 100%, trying to keep up, trying to do more than any one person can do. And it's.
You want to know what happens whenever your team gets burned out? This is my newspaper this morning. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Office of Motor Vehicles in the state of Louisiana. If you have a Louisiana driver's license, your personal information was likely exposed. Cyber attacks, according to the Governor's Office in Homeland Security of Emergency Preparedness, that could include names, addresses, social security numbers, birth dates, height, eye color, driver's license numbers, vehicle registration, and handicap placard information. It was unprecedented. They're going to have a news conference today at some point whenever they get their shit together. Unclear at this point, but the file sharing software targeted at the Office of Motor Vehicles, Move It, was at the root of a sweeping international. Now look, Matt Lee. Is Matt here? Matt, if you're here, wave or something. Put a smiley face or a one or the other. Is pulling together everyone that's possibly affected by this, and we're working on the side to do what we can. It's not just my state.
Oh,
all right.
No.
But you picked the wrong state, you mother effer. All right.
I mean,
pick the wrong one.
I'm not gonna say I was shuffling through the kitchen going, move it. You got to move it, right? But we know this. Come on, you download some random file sharing, file conversion, whatever. We're all guilty of it. Everybody goes to Google. You're in a pinch. You got to get something converted. You're gonna figure out what is what. Where I got to get this done. So you grab that freeware tool, you install it. Even if you uninstall it, you don't know what it left behind. And so I think why this is so prolific is there's this one, but what's the next one? What's the one that comes up tomorrow that we're all running?
Right. But the part that I love about this, though, before we leave that one theme that you're bringing up earlier of the mental health and all that, is that we need to realize, just as our adversaries obviously are coming against us full bore, right? We have to pull together as a community, and we have to realize that we're people. And in that aspect of people, it's not just what we do at the keyboard. One of the most amazing things that we've watched happen in the range, with students coming from all sorts of different backgrounds that have come with anxieties, come with difficulties, come with all sorts of baggage, that when they find a place where there's actually people that think like them, problem solve like them, look at the world like, how can I approach a solution, right? It's kind of like at the base mindset of so much of IT, that when we actually get together in person, physical, incredible support takes place. And we need to start thinking out of the shells of just our own company and start thinking in the larger community. And that's what you're doing, Ryan. That's the incredible part that you're pulling together, which is just fantastic.
And anyone that wants to collaborate, and I appreciate that, Will. Thank you for those kind words. Anybody that wants to collaborate, if you're somebody that wants to help, reach out, let me know. Whatever that might be. There's so many ways to serve with our skill set and our abilities to problem solve. I would say our industry has for a positive, but a disproportionately high number of creative problem solvers. And so that's always valuable. And you never know who can help who with the next thing, right? And I think part of what I'm hoping comes out of this is a deeper interconnection in our community. I was so blessed and humbled to get to meet some really great folks down at NolaCon. Matter of fact, the individuals running the badge booth, and ended up on their Discord. And I'm going to throw them some love. It's called Hackers and Hops, And when I shared that with Evan, because FR Secure runs hops and hacks. And so we made sure that, you know, folks knew that that wasn't an infringement, and that you know, we really appreciate that, and just getting interconnected in the community. And you know, this year I may work as one of the con volunteers at Black Hat and DEF CON, because I believe in service. And I encourage all of us, especially those of us, if you've been in this career for 20 years or more, step down out of the ivory tower once in a while. Go do the grunt work. Go do the, you know, jump on the phone with the junior that bit off more than they can chew and they're panicking and need you to walk them through it. And if you don't have those folks in your Rolodex today, reach out, let me know. I got a ton of folks. Will's got a ton of folks. Rachel's got a ton of folks, you know, that we can get you connected with if you're not mentoring, if you're not passing that wisdom. So I'm hopeful we can create, and today was part of that, right? Getting this rebooted and getting folks excited to have some real conversations about some real things instead of just listening to drony sales pitches. Right? I think we're all kind of over that shit. Oops, sorry.
That, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, it's surprising to me how big. Let me try to. I'm sorry if you guys are new here. I'm neurodivergent, ADHD. Sometimes my brain is going faster on like 7 or 8 channels at the same time. So the concept or thing that I want to say is wrapped up, and I gotta like collect it all together. So if I ask for a second, that's why I asked for a second. Okay, so give me a second. It is amazing to me how no matter the size of the company, ginormous 10,000 plus seat to 2-seaters, all right, both have the same problem when it comes to third-party risk. Okay, I'm talking about what risks are you opening yourself up to through your partnerships that you may not be aware of, right? And everybody's like, oh, well, we do risk assessments on all of our partners. Okay, that's great. But when was the last time you did that? One, I've come into places before where the last time they assessed any kind of risk was like 6 years ago. I've come into places before where one team bought a tool that nobody else knows about. The administrators of that tool are no longer with the company, and that tool is still connected and hooked up. And it's just, and the procurement department just keeps paying the annual bill for the subscription, and nobody says anything or does anything. There's the lack of visibility is astounding. I'm like, nobody walks into the tool shed and does an inventory every once in a while of what you've got hanging up there and what it's used for and who's actually using it. And no, my stepdad does this. Okay, he's got a huge, beautiful barn out at their house. Okay, and he has, that thing is chalked to the ceiling. It is 2 floors full of tools. All right, if he cannot find the tool that he needs within the first 10 minutes of using his eyeballs to look for the tool, he will go to Home Depot and buy a new tool.
He has not been trained.
In cybersecurity.
He has not been trained.
In
by my wife.
cybersecurity.
You look with these. You don't use these. So at my house, I get in trouble if I've used my man eyes and I didn't actually like.
So in cybersecurity, we call this redundancy. Now, if you go to Home Depot and buy a screwdriver, forgot where you put the screwdriver, so you go back to Home Depot and buy another screwdriver. You got 2 screwdrivers, right? You wasted some money, but it's not that big of a deal. If you are subscribed, though, to the screwdriver that is still in the control of the screwdriver manufacturer, and no one is updating the screwdriver, and nobody is patching the screwdriver might blow up. You don't know. Well, and it's just a ticking time bomb that's sitting back there because you only used your these instead of using these, and look around and count all the stuff, right? I know it sounds really tedious and horrible. Why do you have an internship program? Use it. Well, get your intern just to go talk to people and find out what tools they're using and make a list somewhere.
What is this?
And you don't even
inventory you speak of? Is this what inventory?
And then, I don't know,
Cloud, it's fine.
check and make sure if those contacts are still viable. Do you know how fast your sales and customer success people jump ship from one to the next? It's so fast. Sometimes you blink and there you've got a whole new team of people that nobody knows about. And they're new, so they're not sure if they're supposed to be like right there with you all the time. They don't know. Because you didn't tell them, because you didn't know who they were.
Well, that also is a great atmosphere, right? For just sending invoices for a flat spanner, and they're like, what the? Okay. Must be from my team.
I'm talking about.
I'd even add to that. When doing third-party risk, now you need to look at what is the cultural risk of the organization. What is the resiliency risk? We're not, a lot of times we look at, do you manage your firewall? Do you do your patching cadence? Do you do these things? And yes, very important. We want to continue to look at that. But I'm going to challenge today and say, what's your strategy for AI? What's your cultural resilience? How are you doing your workforce development? I want to know. I'm way more interested in the ethos and the ethics and the actual operation quality. How do you treat your customer? And you guys know this about me, right? When I do a risk assessment on a third party, I always go to Glassdoor, because how you treat your people is going to be reflective of how you treat your customer.
Oh, geez, Ryan. Now
I wish it was in it. I mean, we should add that to this.
Really,
right? Go to Glassdoor.
You're talking that really bad
wait.
stuff.
I'm gonna do this.
You're talking more FTE. I
want to do the Kermit the Frog. Here we
go. But these are legitimate questions. We need, because at the end of the day, I'm not doing business with a logo. I'm doing business with a person. So I need to know a little bit about that person. Are they trustworthy? Are they going to have my back when I need them to? When I'm in leadership roles, I will hire an A+ person with B- skills every day of the week. I would much rather work with someone that has integrity, and being privileged to spend the last, 3+ years working side by side with Evan, a man that I absolutely respect. And I think a lot of us here know of him and know of, how he is an inspiration to others and frankly added a lot of fuel to my fire. And now I'm hoping to pass that to others as well. But we got to revisit this whole conversation. You talk about metamorphosis and transformation and the kind of tie back to the topic of the day. We're at a point within the technological evolution. And I'm not talking about the hype. I'm not going to sit and debate what AI can and can't do. I'll tell you what it can do. It can do some things. And as long as that's true, that means someone's going to use it to do something. And if they can make money at it, I guarantee you they're going to leverage the hell out of it to get every dollar they can. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of good guidance. Although the good news is keep your eyes on the prize, because in a couple of weeks, I've got a white paper coming out from ISACA about this very topic. And how do we engage as a business in this new realm, this 90% of my environment's managed in somebody else's cloud, and I'm not entirely sure if the Linux server's wet or not, right? So I got to go in, I got to look, I got to do this. Well, as we all know, and that's back to that co-op. And by the way, I'm with Rachel on the ADHD, so if I lose you, sorry. But the idea is that a smaller group asks Microsoft to do something, and they say, "Oh, that's cute." Big guy asks for it. They say, "No problem. We'll dedicate an engineer." Well, what happens if a group of small starts to represent themselves as a larger entity? I think we can unlock some things. We can ask some tougher questions. Why is a really powerful question we often forget to ask. Well, the data's on that server. Okay, why? Borrowing from my wife's book, right? Just perpetual why. Like why? Why is that? And it used to be the idea that it was more cost effective. Well, we're learning that that's probably not entirely true. It used to be that it was, well, it's in the cloud, it's secure. Well, come on, we know that's not true. So it's but like when I'm looking at things like OT, like a good friend of ours, Chip Harris, is out visiting some folks this week and presenting some insights and recommendations around critical infrastructure. That I'll be honest, the physical digital barrier, even 6 months ago, still kind of there, Now I can't see it anymore. It's become transparent. It's invisible. It's, I have a dumb house for a reason, right? I did find out, however, that I can turn off all the neighbors' power meters, the flipper zero. Wait, no, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But that's my point.
Yeah, please don't get me indicted.
Yeah,
Thanks,
well,
Ryan.
No, I didn't do anything. I like my neighbors. Their power's still on. But the point is that we have to have old conversations in new ways. We've been moaning and groaning 25 years. I can't get an inventory. Well, stuff kept getting onboarded into the environment. Why didn't that go in the inventory? I understand you can't deal with the historic. So fine, draw a line in the sand. Don't put the new machine in the environment without first inventorying it.
Yeah. Have you noticed a trend that's starting to happen that just kind of sneaked in out of nowhere? Stuff that is really critical to the functioning of your system, you can't access it directly anymore. You have to manage it through the cloud. Like, what? Who thought this was a good idea, right?
I mean, when I open my laptop and it says your computer is monitored and protected by, I was like, I didn't ask for that. Right. Well, and therein lies the trade-off, right? So as we do adopt more of this automation, as we look at things like SOAR, right? Security orchestration, if done well, very helpful. If done poorly, it actually starts to become one of your bigger risks because you have this artificial trust that you've put in place. You assume the tool, SolarWinds, anybody? You assume the tool is doing its job, and it might be doing something else too. So I think it's really understanding your business. What do you do? Why do you do? And how do you do? And who do you have doing it? And who are you doing it with? And how much skin do they have in the game? And then we can get to the technology piece. But I think we start, with the where's the computer, but not why and who and what do we do as a business? And I encourage all of us to get a little closer to our businesses because those answers and responses are about to change, especially in the how piece.
Yep. I got to tell you, I've provided visibility into tech stacks before that have made a lot of people really uncomfortable. By the way, cross team visibility into tool stacks, it makes internally they are uncomfortable to share what's in their toolbox. And I'm like, why though? Why aren't you candid about this?
I think,
do you have endpoint? Like I've consolidated endpoint as a support person for the contracting side of it, consolidated 3 different endpoint solutions into one. They ended up saving like $1 million over the life of the contract, right? Because you buy in bulk, right? The more you buy, the less expensive it gets. So if you have 2 tools that are redundant, why don't you take a look at the functional requirements and technical requirements, see if you can get those 2 teams to agree, right? And then consolidate that subscription instead. It's just, I know it sounds common sense, but the funny thing about common sense, you guys,
not common. Well,
not,
and I like that you bring that up. I tell everybody, when I'm consulting and advising, we're going to build your security program around process, not product. Okay.
Yes.
And yes, I'm with Rachel. Save your money, right? Consolidate where you can. Yes, let's do singular solutions where it makes sense, but let's not become so solution dependent in the way that we build our processes, policies, procedures, and programs that we lose the part of it's the resiliency, but the other part of it is the adaptability. I need to be able to quickly adapt. What happens when tomorrow the popular, and I won't name and shame any vendors here, but the popular solution that supposedly is doing the thing now has been found to be in control of the bad guys for 30 days, but don't worry, we can fix it. Oh, wait, oops, no, we can't. Please throw all of that equipment in the garbage can. So, you know, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, maybe Google a little bit there. But it's interesting because one of the core flagships that for many years was an entrenched, well-established, you put it in, it's part of your security program. A good security program includes this specific named thing. And I think for me, getting to what are the right products at the right price that deliver the capability and have.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Ryan was on a thing there. Well, we lost Ryan for a second. Alexander mentioned something really cool. I don't think I'm going to get the whole. No, I didn't get the whole comment. That he was in a situation recently where he had to run software inventory on standalone systems assigned to my department. There was a script that was sent out. We told it to run higher ups. After digging into the script, found only a query to sit. So, right, this wasn't the full capability that was required for what Alexander was trying to do, and he mentioned it. He put up his hand. He's like, "Hey, there's a problem over here, and we need help with it." And hey, Ryan, hold on a second. And the leadership was like, "That's not important. That sucks. Can we talk about how much that'll hurt your feelings? That'll hurt your feelings. If you raise your little flag, you're like, here I am, a professional in my role. You hired me to do this job. You hired me to say things." He said something and nobody gave a shit. That sucks. But it's also the kind of thing where you did your job and you should be proud of yourself because you raised your hand and you mentioned it. You said something, and that's documented somewhere, hopefully in an email. I hope this was not just in a one-on-one call that you guys did not record. Write it in an email as a follow-up. Make sure that is documented. That's how you document. You hear people talk about documentation. Documentation is not you opened Word and wrote stuff down. Documentation is you sent an email. You had a recorded phone call. You drafted up something somewhere and shared it with the team, right? Whatever. Internal communication channels. Internal communication such as Slack, Teams, Signal. Some people use Signal, I know. All these other places. Document. And Josh is excellent at his job. Josh is so excellent at his job that he has notes from meetings that his manager is so glad that Josh takes these notes because Josh is like, no, I mentioned it during this time on this meeting and we already knew about it. And then his manager can take that back and go, look at all the documentation. We said stuff. You accepted it the way that it was, told us not to do anything. That'll save your butt so many times. So many times.
Well, and I'll give you a pro tip. Risk acceptance on the one side, PO on the other. You slide them both across the table. You don't care which one gets signed, but you're not leaving without one of them signed.
Oh man, the first time I ever heard anybody introduce that concept to me, was it Jonathan Kimmett? It was forever ago. You guys, I feel like I've lived 10 years in the last 18 months. But it was forever ago.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
He was the CISO for the University of Tulsa for like ever since Jesus. And I think he was the first one that mentioned something about having them sign. Well, if you don't want to do X, Y, Z, then you accept risk level A, B, or C. Sign here. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Well, and I think
I was like, what an idea.
Practitioners need to recognize our role is not to tell them they're wrong. Even when they are. It's not our job. Our job is to articulate risk, highlight it in context, and then take whatever set of actions fall within their risk appetite. If they're okay with it, they're okay with it. Now, I will tell you that if you as a personal individual aren't okay with an organization that makes those types of decisions, well, that's a personal journey. And I guarantee you there's somebody else out there looking to hire you who will handle that different. But I think one of the things I was talking about yesterday that fits this is the bad rap that a lot of times we as IT and security folk have, because the first time somebody interacted with us was when that bad help desk guy showed up, smashed on the keyboard a whole bunch of times, shot you a few dirty looks, smelled pretty bad, and then walked away thinking you were the idiot as he mumbled under his breath, "Stupid user," right? So I think that we got to remember we are the business too. We're not a different team.
Can I say something? Can I say something about the stupid user comment? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I have to interject. If it is your opinion that your users are stupid, it is your fault.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Unpopular opinion. It is your fault if your users are stupid and it causes you pain because you did not educate them. Who else is going to educate them if it's not you? It's you. You are the person that are going to teach the other people. The bigger the organization, the bigger the risk, because everybody knows it's the employees. You can have every control, every tool. I don't care. You could spend more money on cybersecurity and IT than any other bucket and have it all tuned perfectly and be pristine. The fact that you still have human beings connecting to your network means that they are still vulnerable. And if they're stupid, it's because you didn't stop and go, let me knock on doors, right?
Okay,
we did this before with Evan. We were talking about the church of cybersecurity that was like, have you heard about our Lord and Savior? Strong passwords? No, or like anything, like any topic. Just you have to educate them. You have to talk about it. You have to be passionate to say stuff about how to look both ways before you cross the street of, your VPN. Like just anything. I'm sorry. Rant over. I had a rant.
Let me just toss in a challenge. This, and we can see some of the things coming up in the chat along these lines. And Rachel, Ryan, and Evan, you could chime in on this too. How about an IT course from your guys' backgrounds, experience, multiple vendors, multiple companies? How many times have you come across where you have folks in IT, in the lower echelons, that do want to have that care for individuals, that do want to make that difference, that do want to have that different level of integrity, but they are fighting either not enough staff, or I know it's crazy, I know it's a wild thought, but sometimes we do get some very narcissistic individuals at high levels in organizations that like to really push forth their will and their right, no matter what, period, right? And that's where some of these techniques, like you discussed, with document everything, even when you're on phone calls, you can always give a summation and send it back an email and say, hey, we discussed this. This is what I took away from this. Am I correct? You can, all these different techniques and points. How about a integrity survival skill book of some sort to help change the industry? Because this is at the core of what you do, Ryan. This is definitely at the core of what you do, Rachel, for wanting to change the industry. But there's times when you are a small cog in a big machine and it's kind of broken.
You are a small cog in a big machine. And I want to shout this person out by name because I love them so much. They know who they are, and that's okay.
Ryan.
There was a third-party risk management leader of a team that I worked alongside quite often, who, when I first joined that team to support them, I was like, what are we doing for security awareness? We lost Ryan again?
We lost Ryan again.
Okay. Still, he says still here. He just lost his camera in his mind. So there was no way to track metrics on it or anything else. But this person was so passionate about educating new employees to the company that they put together just a PowerPoint and worked with the HR department to bring new employees into an hour session and they had it like regularly scheduled. I think it was either once a month, once a quarter, something like that, where they would collect all of the new employees and sit them down and walk them through basics in cybersecurity and at least introduce them to the staff. Now, because of the unique way that that company was set up, it didn't reach as far as everyone would have liked for it to have reached. But it was something. It was something was going and doing. And I was told by leadership that there was no program. There was no program. But here was this person that had a passion for it, a deep concern, had put together this presentation that they did over and over and over again. This was not a one-time thing somewhere. And leadership just didn't know about it. They just didn't know that this was even happening. And I'm like, how can you not know? Like, what? Why this person is not so buried on the teams that they don't ever speak up? Hey, buddy, welcome back. But like, how did you not know that this very passionate individual was out there basically running your security awareness program for the larger employee base? How did you not know that? And why didn't you, whenever you wanted to start your new program, get them deeply involved? Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have them deeply involved. And all the leadership was concerned about, now here's the juxtaposition, right? Like, I'm very passionate about educating the user, right? You want to know what leadership is concerned about? The metrics and how they can somehow apply policy to this and everything else, and which is great, right? There needs to be policies in place. That's a very important thing, so that it carries on past you. You don't end up with, legacy processes and policies. But what made me hurt deeply on the inside was, instead of making it a security awareness program that was something that was to be published in a positive way internally throughout this company, they wanted to use it to measure when to fire that employee. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Have you seen those programs before, where if you failed a test, however many X amount of times, you're now fired.
So two things on that. First, Will, your commentary was so hot it overheated my iPhone. Like, I didn't even know that could happen. Like, all of a sudden, this alarm shows up. It's just like, shutting down now, too hot, temperature warning. So just know that your comments are on fire, son. You're melting my iPhone. All right. So, and by the way, as a former Android user who still prefers Android but can't defend the decision, never had it overheat. At least it didn't shut down. Might have started my lap on fire. But to your point, Rachel, here's one from, I tell this one on stage a lot. I have a friend who is that person. 20, count it with me now, 20 failed phishing attempts in a 6-month window. And I said to said friend, I don't know if we could be friends anymore. If word ever gets out that I'm hanging out with you and this is your security habits, I'm done for. And I said, what happens when you click the link? Do I get malware on the server? Said, oh, okay, all right, no, that's pretty decent. So what does that mean? I don't effing know. And I said, oh, herein lies the problem. I said, so what if I told you when you click the link, you have invited the burglar to hang out in your living room while you go on a 2-month international vacation? Oh my God, that's what's happening? I have that kind of impact on the company. So I would encourage anybody to take the tech out of it. Unless you are talking to a fellow bona fide certified nerd who wants to drip, as to quote my wife, drip geek on the carpet, maybe make it more accessible, relatable. Maybe explain it in not dumb it down. And I hate that too. We always talk about dumbing it down. Well, what about getting smart on their level? What about connecting to their smart instead of you thinking you need to dumb it down for them? Maybe you need to articulate it better.
What?
Yeah, you don't need to dumb it down. You need to stop for a moment, use your empathy, and relate the importance of what you're trying to get them to do to what's important to them. And for that to happen, you have to listen to them and talk to them and not talk at them, right? And not be like, these are the rules. We're going to put fear of God in you, or whoever, whatever you believe in, to make you do this, right? That is going to create a negative security culture, right? They're users that are introduced to security policies around awareness that are like, if you don't get this right, we're going to fire you, right? They don't want to tell the security team when they've noticed something that looks fishy. They don't want to tell the security team or their managers or anybody else if their laptop got stolen. They don't want to tell anybody because they're terrified, because their livelihood is at risk. You cannot sell a positive security culture that way. You have to, I know it sounds dumb, but you have to congratulate them every time they speak up, even if it was redundant or if it was stupid. And no, that's totally fine. You bought that gift card and the link that you got sent is legit. Like, why are you telling the security? And I know there's people on the analyst side that are like, Rachel, don't tell them to report everything, God.
What? The power of encouragement? What? Yeah. And I'd like to bring note, the dialogue that's been going on in the chat session, some of those elements with Evan, Jonathan, Steve had a great comment in there on leadership, right? Mm-hmm. Folks are looking at those elements of, if you are in a leadership position, the power that you really have is if you use encouragement, you're the one in the position that can stoke creativity, that can encourage and enable others to grow and take those good ideas and help them to succeed, which is very difficult, I think. And I'm just going to put this out there just as a guess. Many times in IT leadership, they have a hard time with that because they haven't had the environment to really pick up those skills. They've learned how to be very efficient because, hey, we're problem solvers, right? We like to fix the thing, but they haven't had that time to learn how to support people and motivate people and give encouragement. That's awesome. I'm behind you, right? And that's what, when you come up with some of those elements that Jonathan was talking about, that Evan was talking about, Evan talks about this in spades. This could be a whole nother coffee talk, right? It's just awesome.
What?
So speaking of other coffee talks, and we're running up against time here. We always promise everybody it's going to be an hour. We're about to go over a few minutes, I can tell, but we do need to start seriously considering wrapping up just for everybody's time and being respectful of that. I know we missed you guys too. We could be here all day.
I'll come back some other time.
So,
I'll say this in closing. Learn your business, love the people you serve, okay? And crazy idea, but instead of trying to fix the user, maybe make the environment resilient to being clicked in the first place.
Also, right? There's got to be a lot of wheels in motion all at the same time to make this work. It is a team effort. Somebody else made a comment about security as a team effort, and yeah, it is 100% team effort. And you guys, you have to actually go talk to the teams. I'm not talking about just your own. I'm outside of that one. Like, go talk to the rest of the team is really the most important thing there. You guys, we are so glad that you came along.
I'm just, look at what's going on in the chat, right? Look at the number of people that have come back. It's like, we love you folks. I mean, this is just blowing us away at how much people want to talk about these topics, how much people want to just have a frank discussion on these things and be able to be part of the podcast. This is fantastic. And and later on, at some point in time, too, maybe next time, tell you some of the great things that have been happening at PIMA. And
I
things
love it.
fun, but
So look, this is a little unorthodox, okay? But this is what's gonna happen. Today was a reboot. Hey, how you doing? Okay. 2, we want to softly announce, but not officially announce that Ryan, by the way, thank you for all the research and help you've put together to try to develop a sponsorship program for the coffee table talks. So the big idea here, guys, is that there's not a lot of overhead in these talks. I am not a professional podcaster. I do not get paid. Will does not get paid for this. We did not pay Ryan to be here. We don't pay any of our guests to be here. You can ask them. They're probably mad that they didn't get even a gift. Thank you for showing up. It's because this is free. It is currently unsponsored, really. The overhead is pretty low, though. But we are going to start accepting sponsorship. And the eventual grand idea is that those sponsorship dollars, once operation costs are taken aside, which is very minimal, again, are going to be dumped into a grant scholarship type bucket where we're going to start offering. This may be 6 months to a year out, okay? So just everybody calm down. We're going to start offering a grant scholarship program to assist cybersecurity, information security professionals with certification costs, with continued education costs, first-time higher education costs, in lower economic brackets, because it is unfair and it's a gate that needs to be knocked down. And that's a firm belief of the people that are here. So that's what that sponsorship will eventually be for. Ryan is working on putting that together for us because he is a sweet, sweet man. And hopefully we'll be able to share more on that later with official linky things where you can go and find, the 1-page sheet on what each tier level will get you. And we'll talk about your product or services and we'll put your logo up, right? We're going to do all those fun things. So sponsored, but not like in the slimy way.
And if there's a hole burning in your pocket and you want to help now, reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll figure it out. There's an informal way to do this while we get the formalities in place. But, and you guys are awesome. Even those that folks look to be the inspiration also need inspiration. So just remember that, lift each other up, encourage each other. This is not an easy job, but you can do it. And you can do it even better with this amazing team. And if you haven't connected with the folks in the chat, if you guys don't know each other, come on, let's get going here. We got to get this. Let's start talking. Let's start doing things. I love you guys.
All of us can help each other. And all of you, what happens in classes, in the range, it's amazing. You never have any idea of how much a word of encouragement can change people's lives. Passing on just a little bit of knowledge of things that have happened to you, how you've handled it, and your perspective can just absolutely change lives. So as you folks go forth, keep that in mind. Help those around you, because it makes a huge difference. And if you have any curiosities, difficulties doing that, Ryan is a fantastic contact, folks.
Yes, definitely. And I've got something else really exciting. So the next session of the coffee table talks are going to be on Friday, July the 7th. So that's a couple weeks out. Look, Josh and I just hit our 13th year wedding anniversary. Okay. Yay, go us. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to Josh Arnold for keeping me alive and hydrated. Good job, baby. And neither one of us have ever been arrested. We're doing good, right? That is great. That is great. So we are going out of town next weekend. So we're not going to be here for the cocktail talk. And then the week after that, we promised the kids that we would take them to the beach. So we're doing that. All right. So the next time we come back is going to be July 7th. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm about to share the linky thing in the LinkedIn. Or you know what? How about I do one better and I put it in the Restream chat so that you can go see that. Hopefully you guys can click that. I'm not sure. With Kaylee Melton. So I met Kaylee at the B-Sides event. All right. Kaylee did a great presentation about coming into IT cybersecurity space from nothingness. She came from nothingness. Okay. She like paycheck to paycheck type family, blue collar, sometimes barely had enough, right? Appalachian Mountains. This person is amazing. All right. This is a new best friend. I'm gonna figure out how to just keep Kaylee Melton with me all the time. All right. Also happens to be a VP over at Nova4. Not a huge fan of Kevin, but security awareness is important. We mentioned it, right? So Kaylee's going to come on. She is amazing. She is awesome. They should take Kevin out of the spot that he's in and put Kaylee. All right, in my opinion. Just saying. Some people are probably going to look. They're going to be like, pew, pew, shots fired. But anyway, Kaylee's going to come on next week. So I am so excited for you guys to meet her. Go click the linky thing. Hit the attend button. That way you get notified when everything's coming up because, you know, life's crazy. We work in cybersecurity. Stuff happens. You're going to forget. All right? We all know it. Just go ahead and click it. It's a good idea. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. There it is. There's the button for the YouTube channel. The Human API. That'll also notify you of live events whenever we go. And you can also follow Secure Nations page. That's where these events land via the LinkedIn. Okay. And you can always go back and watch them there too. It's great. Good stuff. If you have clicked attend on this session, I will definitely, me or Ashley Brock or one of the other fabulous folks at Secure Nation are going to drop you a little message that says, thanks so much for attending. Here's the link in case you missed it, right? Because some people click attend and then they don't. They forget or they get busy or some emergency happened or move it hit their system, right? Like stuff happens. But you guys stay safe. Thank you so much for grabbing a cup and circling up. We have some last words here. I know Ryan hit his, but maybe I ran on and rambled too much. Now everybody forgot. So I'm going to give you guys all some space for some last words.
Take care of yourself.
Ryan, you
take care of each other. Take care of the people we serve.
Definitely. Will, any last
Absolutely. I just say it's so nice to be back and see you again, Rachel. You're awesome.
Thanks. You're awesome. You know who else is awesome? All these people in the chat. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
You see Thor is super excited. Sleepy dog. I love him. All right, you guys. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. We love you all.